All right, what's going on, everybody? It's gonna be a good one tonight. Won't be very long. We're going over meal prepping. How do you do it? Why should you do it? What should you put into it? How many meals a day should you be planning on? All this stuff we'll be going over very quickly. But I think it's gonna be really easy for you guys. I'm gonna try to simplify why you should meal prep, why it's important. Well, let me turn this music down a little bit more here. All right. So, first and foremost, meal prepping, what is it? It's basically just preparing your food for the week. I mean, we know these things. This can go into what we take to work, planning our breakfast the night before, planning our family meals throughout the week. All these things are considered meal prep, right? And anybody who's been in fitness or is trying to lose weight, you hear this word meal prep, meal prep, meal prep, and then what everyone thinks of when they first start talking about meal prep is chicken, rice, and like a bowl that's ice cold with no sauce or anything. And yes, some of us do that. I'm a culprit, but that does not mean you have to see results. So let's discuss simply why should we meal prep? And it's preparing a meal that we know we're going to eat the next day. Because I feel like in today's day and age, when we don't have a plan or we don't know exactly what we're going to eat the next day, when we're working, we get busy, things happen, we get caught up in a call or caught up in a meeting, and we just grab the first thing we can. Or maybe we only have 5 minutes left of our break at work, and so we just stop by Wendy's and get that awesome spicy chicken sandwich I know everybody loves. Um, so meal prepping is important because you have it ready, right? You know what you're going to have. It's planned in your head. So it is a fail safe. I think maybe back in the day when there wasn't so much around us that was unhealthy, that meal prepping wasn't as huge to a certain extent. But nowadays, with us being so busy, family, sports, meetings, you have to have the mindset of, okay, I know for a fact I'm eating this, whether you make it before or not, but you have to have the mindset, I'm going to eat this at this time, right? It'll make a huge difference in your fitness journey. Okay. Benefits of meal prepping. Yes, we're going to watch our calorie intake. Yes, we're going to make sure we're eating healthy foods, not pizza or McDonald's with fries. But another big aspect, and if you've been in my other live streams, we've spoken about protein, protein, protein. I can't push it enough. If you guys are going to strength train, if you guys are going to run or whatever it is you do for exercise, you've got to get that protein intake to recover. And like I told you in the last live stream, you want to take your goal body weight, multiply that by 1, and that's how many grams of protein you should be having a day. So when you're meal prepping, and we'll go into how many meals in a second, but when you're meal prepping, a good rule of thumb is 40 grams of protein per meal. That should help you keep you on track. So yes, you will have healthier meals that aren't burgers and fries, but one of the main aspects is making sure we're getting the right types of calories in, those protein calories first and foremost, and then we'll worry about the other stuff in a second. A big question people have is how many should they have a day? And I've gone back and forth with this. I've tried a lot of different diets out, and I think that's a good thing, right? For me is that I haven't just stuck with one diet. There's been a lot of diets that work for me. Um, just because, throughout the time of testing, yes, I have some that I enjoy more than others. But when it comes to the breakdown, how many meals should you have a day? There's not an answer to that. If you've spoken with me in the past or if you've heard any of the other live streams, it all comes down to calorie intake. People go on the keto diet, people go on intermittent fasting, which I'm a huge fan of, as you guys probably know. People go on these all sorts of diets. And the reason they work is because they're on a calorie deficit plus exercise. So, my main takeaway is this: you've got to figure out kind of where you lie, where you fall. Are you a person who is very sluggish or they don't have something in the morning? A lot of people tend to believe, hey, if I have carbs in the morning, if I have sugars in the morning from my fruit, you know, am I gonna gain weight quicker? If I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go drive to downtown Atlanta, I'm eating that early. Am I gonna hold on to those calories harder because it's so early? No, you won't. I say 3 to 5 meals a day is a good rule of thumb to stick with. Now, if you're like me and you like to fast, you know, I'm not fasting per se right now, but when you do fast, it's usually around like 2 meals. And that's skipping breakfast, having lunch, and having dinner, and maybe a little something before bed. Either way, I could have 5 meals, in the span of breakfast and dinner. And as long as it's on a calorie deficit of where I should be, I'm going to lose weight. So, and you have to also think there's some people who might be diabetics. There might be some people who have to have sugars or whatever the case may be throughout the day. And so it wouldn't make sense to say, well, you can only have one meal. And I used to diss on those people who would only have one meal a day, saying there's no way that works, and they saw great results. So I would say test it out. I would try smaller meals first, 5 small meals a day, just because I know a lot of us are working quite a bit, that throughout the day we can get tired or sluggish just because we're hungry or whatever the case may be. So having those smaller meals might help you make it through, but that's also a lot of planning and prepping. But 3 to 5 is a good rule of thumb. Start with 5, make them small, and we'll go over what that means too. What should be in each meal? So I've already kind of described we want at least 40 grams of protein in each of our meals. Now, if we have a little bit more or less, that's fine, but 40 grams is a good rule of thumb to stick to. For me, I am not a huge fat person. That means healthy fats, fish, avocados, butters, all natural butter. I think those are great. For me, it's very heavy. I don't I don't feel it's energetic. I don't feel as very I don't know. I don't feel as sprite. I don't even know that's a word, but carbs for me just work better. So I will have a lean protein, which if you don't know what those are, it's stuff like turkey, chicken, lean ground beef that's like 93% 7, right? Um, Fish, things like that have, I don't want to say this is a general rule, but if my meat's fat content is more than the protein it has per serving, it's way too fatty. I always want to try to go double or more. So if my meat's got 5 grams of fat per serving, I'm looking to get at least 10 to 15 grams of protein per serving. That would be considered lean to me. But don't take that and run with it. That's how I kind of look at it. But you want leaner meats. A good rule of thumb though for that too is your meat should be like the size of your fist, maybe a size and a half because mine's kind of small, right? That's also a good kind of a thing to take away is if you just have like a little small little cup, like if you go to Chick-fil-A and they have those grilled nuggets that's like this big, you need a little bit more than that, right? So fist and a half, that's how much protein or how much meat you should have. Veggies are crucial, man. We don't get enough veggies in our diet. I stress this to everyone, and I think people take it for granted. They say like, okay, yeah, obviously I need to eat veggies, but I'm talking about like if you go to Kroger and get a frozen bag of veggies, like that's like this massive, right? That's what I consider a serving for your meal, right? That's not like 5 meals. I think it's like, I don't know, 3 to 4 servings in a little bag. That to me would be just one meal. And that's not because I'm trying to gain muscle or whatnot. I think it's incredibly crucial to just down veggies, because it's going to make us full. It's get our carbs and our healthy sugars in there. So hopefully that makes sense. So meat, right? Fist and a half. Okay. Then a bag of veggies, first and foremost. Okay. Pick your favorite veggie, throw it in there. It's in the microwave for 5 minutes and it's ready to rock. And then this is kind of where you play around with a little bit. Do you add carbs or do you add fats? I don't usually add both, but you can. So when it comes to rice, people are like brown, white rice. Do I throw that in? Whatever. I'm a white rice guy. Yes, I know it's not as healthy. Don't care. It still gives me the carbs that I need. Um, but as I'm cooking my rice, I don't necessarily measure mine out, but I do a handful, right? I don't know if you can see that or not. I think you can. But I kind of cup it in my hand because rice can hold a lot of carbs if you're doing like a half a cup or a full cup. So I just do a little bit. So when you do a handful of rice with your veggies and a meat, I promise you, you're going to be stuffed. That's going to be hard to put down. That's a very general idea of what your meal should look like. And you can kind of mess with it. There's a lot of great sauces out there, a lot of great things to kind of, if your food feels a little dry, that there's a lot of sauces that might be sugar free, calorie free, whatever that can help out with that. But you got to think the meals you really want to enjoy, I should say, are the ones with your family. And we'll get to that in a second. The ones you meal prep for, this is just to be healthy, lose some weight, look good, feel good, and get throughout our day, right? I don't think anybody eats a piece of pizza in the middle of the day while they're working and feels good afterwards, right? So these meals right here will make you feel good. Lean meat, tons of veggies, and either pick some type of carb, and then if you don't want to do carbs, do a healthy fat. Now, when it comes to the healthy fats, like I told you guys, half an avocado would be plenty, not a full avocado. You don't need tons and tons of fats because it's double the amount of calories. So if you are a person who enjoys a little bit more healthier fats than instead of carbs, just be aware of that. I don't really have a rule of thumb for each kind of category, but I would say just look over the serving sizes for each type of fat you're looking at. And I would just do a very, very small amount there. So meal preps, boom, we got lunch figured out. Let's talk about breakfast. Overnight oats are good. I think when it comes to carbs, you guys need to really focus on the carbs that carry a lot of fiber. This is stuff like oats or brown rice, stuff like that. The reason is because fibers takes longer to digest, right? And it's also gonna make you feel fuller longer. So this is kind of like a little sneaky secret in the fitness world that like oats contain carbs, but there's a lot of fiber in them, and you can't digest those, right? And so you feel fuller longer, and it's a really healthy route to go. So overnight oats is a good way to meal prep for the morning. I can show you guys how to make that. But I think for breakfast, a lot of us probably do like protein shakes and stuff anyways. But I would think overnight oats is a really, really good place to start if you're looking to kind of meal prep for the mornings. Family meal time. So this is tough because I really do believe in making sure we have good meals with the family that we enjoy, that there aren't just like pieces of rubber that we're trying to chew on because we know like we need it. I think if you plan, in my head, and when I talk to Hannah, my wife, plan the week out. Like if you know you're going to have lasagna with your family on Friday, because that's like their favorite meal, then try to choose meals throughout the week that aren't as carb heavy and make that be like a carb heavy kind of day, if that makes sense. Yes, like if you have to kind of change some things in the meal to suit your diet needs and the rest of your family doesn't need those, yes, I wouldn't say like let's focus on making a completely different dinner, but the main aspect for meal prepping too with the family is to have an idea of, okay, I'm doing this Monday, I'm doing this Tuesday, I'm doing this Wednesday, I'm cooking this Thursday, and then Friday it's free night or whatever. That's huge for you guys that are moms, is that you have to have an idea of like, what am I going to have for dinner? How many calories do I think that's going to be? And to plan for it. Because at the end of the day, if you know for a fact, man, I'm going to kill pizza on Friday with my husband, cool. Plan for that. Eat super, super lean throughout the week and earn that pizza on Friday. Meal prepping helps with that. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? I know I'm going super, super fast. I'm trying to make this quick and easy for you guys. So let's do some bullet points too while you guys ask your questions if you have any. 3 to 5 meals a day. That's what I would stick with, unless you want to intermittent fast. If you're intermittent fasting, 2 meals. And then maybe a little snack before bed. But 2 big meals. When you do your meal prepping, size of your fist for your meat, fist and a half, 40 grams of protein is what we're shooting for. Whole bag of veggies, you hit that up, a little bit of carbs or a little bit of fats, and I promise you, you're going to be taken care of. That right there will be in your calorie deficit no matter who you are. When it comes to carbs, stick with oats, brown rice, try to stay away from the breads. Fruits, I should have actually gotten into that earlier. Fruits are not a bad thing. Yes, they contain a lot of sugar, but they can be a bad thing if they're with every meal. So yeah, if you've noticed tonight, I haven't talked too much about them. Fruits are necessary. There's a lot of things that are good for us within them. When it comes to meal prepping, I try to keep my fruits either in the morning or after dinner. The reason is because I don't want to ingest too many sugars and get like, an insulin spike. And then when that insulin goes down, I feel very sluggish throughout the day. So I'll either do a handful of blueberries and my oats in the morning, or I'll do my fruit before bed. And that's with intermittent fasting or with, the 3 to 5 meals per day. So yeah, keep your fruit in there, but if you want to have it throughout the day, like, for your lunch and stuff, that's fine. I just don't, because I just think I don't want a sugar rush and it to go down. Um, any questions over that? Family meal times, good meals for the family. That's a entirely different live stream. But I think when it comes to meal prepping, let's just take this for example. Let's say my wife's gonna she made vegetable soup tonight, right? I know that's gonna be carb heavy, whatever. If I already planned for that and knew that that was coming tonight, what I would have done is had no carbs throughout the day, just had my veggies and lean meats in my meal prep, and I would have had my carbs for dinner tonight. If that makes sense. I instead of having them throughout the day, I'll just have them all at night with my wife. That's the kind of mentality I want you guys to have. If you're having a lot of fats, eat super, super lean. Maybe have salads and a little bit of lean chicken for your meal preps. And then your heavy, heavy pizza or lasagna that night, it won't put you over the scale there, if that makes sense too. I think that might wrap it up unless you guys have any more questions. 3 to 5 a day. I would try to get breakfast in there if you are new to dieting. If you've been dieting for a while and breakfast just doesn't work for you, you most certainly do not have to have it. Some fitness professionals will say it's super crucial. Some will say don't do it at all. And some, and fit within the middle. At the end of the day, calorie deficit. So see what kind of works for you, but keep your breakfast on the leaner side. Don't make it too heavy. And I guess we didn't mention this too. Water is a big thing with all of your meals. 64 ounces a day, okay? You don't have to drink a gallon, but 64 ounces is a good goal to shoot for every single day. The more water you drink, I promise you, the less hungry you're going to be. So add all these in, and I promise you guys will be taken care of. If you joined in on tonight, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. If you're watching this at a later time, please, I just want to say thank you for watching. Please leave a comment for either one of you guys, or a like if you did like this. If you have any more questions, or say, hey, I want to see more of this, or I have questions on this, please reach out to me on social media or leave a comment on this video and we'll get on it. Other than that, guys, we're going to finish up the stream. Appreciate you guys. Have an awesome night. For those of you that work out with me, I'll see y'all tomorrow. We got some good stuff coming. Be good.